Hello, Paul from Find My Footwear. Today we are going to look at two very popular shoes from Brooks, the Adrenaline GTS 24 and the Glycerin GTS 22. Two very popular shoes from the brand, like I say, and two shoes that offer similar characteristics aimed at similar runners with the same type of support but different levels of cushioning. So we're going to have a look at the features that both shoes share, as well as how they differ and which one you should choose. So first of all, the Adrenaline GTS 24. Now this shoe comes in at 284 grams for the men's, which is around 10 ounces, 250 grams for the women's, 8.8 ounces, has a 36mm stack in the heel, a 12mm drop into the forefoot, and 24mm under the forefoot, under the ball of the foot. And it's the brand's DNA Loft V3 nitrogen injected foam midsole. And what we should point out is this is the same midsole material that was in the previous version of the Glycerin, the Glycerin GTS 21. Now, in the GTS 22, how does that differ? Well, it has been updated a little bit. First up, the weight. It weighs in at 303 grams, 10.7 ounces in the men's, and 269 grams, 9.5 ounces in the women's. So it is a little bit heavier. That said, it's only, well, it's less than 20 grams, isn't it? The cushioning stack is 38mm in the heel, 28mm in the forefoot, so it's 2mm thicker in the heel and 4mm in the forefoot than the Adrenaline, with a 10mm drop. Now, when you've got both the Adrenaline and the Glycerin on, you really don't notice the difference in the drop. Perhaps because of the new foam in the Glycerin, which is the DNA tuned material, it feels a little bit softer. Perhaps on heel strike you sink into it more, so it feels a little bit flatter, but you know, it's really marginal. And whilst we do point out these differences in drop heights and the heel drop and the stacks and all this, it does come down to the softness of the cushioning. Firmer shoes will feel like they have a higher drop. Very soft shoes, they could have a higher drop, but your foot sinks into it more on impact, so your foot levels out and the drop isn't as noticeable. So always bear that in mind. It's not always the numbers that you see written down that are going to be the big factor. Put both shoes on, put one on each foot, and you'll tell the difference. So, who are the shoes aimed at? Well, they're support type shoes and they're daily trainers for daily miles. So let's say you're running 6 days a week, 1 day off for good behaviour, then you would perhaps run 4 times a week in this type of shoe. You may do 1 day a week a trail shoe, 1 day a tempo session, speed session. You know, you mix it up a little bit. But it's a shoe for doing the majority of your daily miles, whether it be the Adrenaline or the Glycerin. And both shoes share the guide rail support system. And that comes from the GTS Go-To support and Adrenaline GTS. You can see it a little bit better. I'll show you the Glycerin. The Glycerin Go-To support, okay, GTS. Guide rails are an extension of the midsole cushioning. It comes up into the arch on the medial side and flares up a little bit on the lateral side of the shoe. So, how does it work? Well, if you've watched any of the videos before, you'll be very familiar with this. As the foot lands laterally on the heel, it sinks into this cup shape here. The foot sitting in the cushioning, like so, sitting in there, and that creates the stability. So it provides both lateral and medial control. So if you are a mild supinator, it will control you. If you're a mild to moderate overpronator, the higher, more prominent support on the medial side of the shoe does provide very good support. Okay, it's very effective. I've been wearing both these shoes, gosh, I had them both in my rotation for around maybe 10 years. and mixing them up. And they both perform very well. It is in this new models, the 24, the Adrenaline 24 and the Glycerin 22, that you do notice the biggest difference yet. Now, the Adrenaline does have the nitrogen infused foam. It's a single density of foam all the way through the shoe. Okay, nitrogen injected, nitrogen at a single molecule. It's lighter, springier, and more durable foam material. But in the Glycerin, you've got a higher stack of it, and it's injected in a, as they say, in a DNA tuned process. So they inject larger, I'm not sure how the process takes place, to be honest, but they've got larger cells in the heel of the shoe that creates a softer landing on heel strike, and smaller cells in the forefoot, and that creates a more responsive feel, and it really is quite noticeable. I say in the 23, Adrenaline 23 and the Glycerin 21, it was just the stack height. You felt you had a little bit more general cushioning. Now, in the Glycerin 22, it feels a different shoe entirely. It is plusher, like I say, it's softer in the heel, and it is springier. I say it does edge it, but that's not to say that the Adrenaline is a bad shoe. The Adrenaline, at its price point, I think offers a very good combination, if not the best combination, of cushioning and control in this category. So it's a very good value for money shoe, very versatile, very durable, and it feels a little bit nimble. It's a little bit more locked down on the foot. A more breathable, lighter mesh upper. The overall weight of the shoe is a little bit lighter as well. The Glycerin is an all-round plusher, more luxurious experience. You've got more padding in the heel. It's very plush around the ankle collar and the Achilles tendon. It's got a very padded tongue. It's got a double jacquard mesh upper. It looks very stylish. But it is a little bit warmer, shall we say, less breathable. It feels thicker on the foot, but very, very plush. So how are you going to mix them up? If it's value for money, go for the Adrenaline. Absolutely fantastic shoe. One of the best, if not the best shoe in this category. If you can afford the more expensive Glycerin, then absolutely go for it. If you've liked the Adrenaline, price isn't an issue. You will like this shoe. In the shop, everybody that's been trying it, people that have tried the previous Glycerins have loved it. People that have stepped up from Adrenaline into the Glycerins have really enjoyed the shoe. So yeah, Adrenaline GTS 24, Glycerin GTS 22. If you can afford it, go Glycerin. Value for money, Adrenaline. Both exceptional shoes, and there can be a space for both of them in your running shoe rotation. If you've got any questions, please feel free to pop them below. I will always endeavour to answer them. If you've liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and we hope to see you again soon on more videos. Thank you for watching.